The chase begins tonight at one of NASCAR's most unique speedways, Worldwide Technology Raceway, otherwise known as Gateway. Tight, high banks on one end and sweeping, shallow banks on the other, married together by two long straights, Gateway is an odd place to race, and we'll see that on display this evening as driver battles car and track tonight. Welcome to Pit Stop TV in the virtual Madison, Illinois. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV with nobody alongside this evening, and it's a pleasure to join you for coverage of the BRB Buttkicker Cup Series. Tonight's coverage from Gateway is brought to you by the Buttkicker, by Ascendance Trucking, by Ideal Lease, by Sundance Pizza, and by Whiplash Sim Cams. This is the Ideal Lease 250, 237 miles in total this evening. It's going to be a fun one here at Worldwide Technology Raceway, otherwise known as Gateway. And of course, it's gone through a couple of name changes in the last few years, but Worldwide Technology Raceway is here to stay on the NASCAR calendar. I think it has become one of the craziest places to go see a race in NASCAR racing, and it's going to be a lot of fun tonight, I think, for these guys as well. Checking in just over 2 kilometers in length, 45 mile per hour speed limit in the pit lane. Opened in 1985 initially, and the oval kind of came along later. 57,000 people can cram into this place and watch a race, and of course, it's located just outside of St. Louis, so we give it the moniker of St. Louis. All that said, qualifying is happening now, so let's get down trackside and take a look at who's going fast and who maybe is looking for a little bit more in this qualifying session. Here's a look at Johnny Wood Jr., fastest so far in car 75. That's not a look at him just yet. Hang on. Here's a look at him. Aha, we've got a car on the screen. It's Johnny Wood Jr. in car 75. Jared Hughes out there in car 98 is second quick. Stephen Borbell third quick so far. Zachary Brandvold fourth. And Dakota Camper checks in the 5th spot. And you'll notice a lot of these cars are donning the red splitter, red windshield banner, and red spoiler. They are your chase drivers. We'll talk about that in a moment. Johnny Wood Jr. goes even faster on lap number 2. No, actually, lap 2 did not count for Johnny Wood Jr., so he will stay at a 33.601. Jared Hughes got a little closer at 33.620. Adam Buzzio, not too bad, at 33.713. Brendan Maddox into the top 10 in his Toyota Camry. Sam Dyer into the top 10 in his Ford Mustang. Scott Fritz into the top 10 in his Chevrolet Camaro. And Fritz works down the backstretch here on his second lap of 2. An opportunity to go faster even. He's already cracked the top 10, running, well, qualified so far 9th. And Scott Fritz just narrowly missed out on the chase this season by 3 points. 3 points is all that separated him and Richard Wolsifer. Would have gone down to a tiebreaker from there. But unfortunately for Fritz, he was 4 points away from getting into the chase outright. Here's a look at Wolsifer down the front stretch and completing lap number 2 of his run at 33.736. That's good for 5th. Solid lap time out of Wolsifer. Looking to do good on his chase berth this season. And here, a special paint scheme for Mason Hausman. It's got gold. It's got both team logos, Maverick Motorsports and Limitless Esports. And it's got names of drivers that he's competed against that have made him more of a driver over his tenure in the BRB Racing League. It's a big thank you to those that make this league possible. A big thank you to all the drivers that he's raced against. And he will take a swing at pole, but will not get it. Second place in qualifying. Mason Hausman, a 33.619. That's quick, but not quick enough for pole position. Braxton Skinner, one of the final 2 cars on the racetrack to set a time. 28th quick so far. Here's a look at Coulter Clark, 18th quick. Looking for something better here at the back end of his run. And it will be faster for Coulter Clark. He'll pick up a couple of spots, but Braxton Skinner will stay at the bottom of the barrel. He will start 28th position this evening, and that will take us through the balance of qualifying. An opportunity then to look at the point standings coming into this race. This is with the chase reset. Mason Houseman, Johnny Wood Jr., Isaiah Sutherland, Dustin Stallings, they lead the way, all up top with their race wins. Then you get guys like Stephen Borbell, Adam Buzzio, Gray Walker, and Brendan Maddox all searching for that first win on the season. Then you get the guys who admittedly just kind of scoot on into the chase. They don't have many stage wins. They don't have many race wins. Dakota Camper, Jared Hughes, Matthew Catania, and Richard Wolsifer all looking to break through and make good on their chase berths here at Gateway. They're going to need to be on it from the get-go. They're starting at a deficit, 29 points, 32 points, 33 points, but they can get the job done if things pan out just right. A look at the points out of the way, we can take a look at the starting grid, brought to you by Lucky Performance. On pole this evening, Johnny Wood Jr. in car 75. Coming fresh off a win at Michigan. Going to keep that green renewals by Anderson 75 on the racetrack and go for another win this evening alongside Mason Houseman, who's got 4 himself this season. Starting from third, you'll find Jared Hughes in that 98 alongside Stephen Borbell in the 2. Starting fifth, it's Adam Buzzio and Richard Wolsifer in the 56. So far, it's been all chase drivers in the top 10 until you get to Carl Pooler in 7th. Then you find a non-chase driver. Then it's a chase driver in Dakota Camper in 8th. And finally, your first non-chase row, Sam Dyer and Zachary Brandvold in your top 10. Starting 11th, it'll be Dustin Stallings. He's in the chase. Scott Fritz just missed it. He'll start from 12th. Starting 11th, it's Isaiah Sutherland. He's in the chase alongside Brendan Maddox, also in the chase. Gray Walker's in the chase. He starts 15th. Coulter Clark misses it, and he'll start 16th rather. Starting 17th and 18th, Matthew Selby and Josh Anderson. And to complete your top 20, Matthew Catania and Zachary Maddox. That's a deep starting position for a chase driver in Catania. Zachary King, Eric Jensen, both just miss out. Well, Zachary King just misses out on the chase. Eric Jensen a little further down. 21st, 22nd on the grid. Robert Moyer Jr., 23rd. Jason Bottoms, 24th. Then Evan Patinko and Cody Dorsey, Dakota Bly, and Braxton Skinner. Your 28 cars in the field. Let's take a look at your Whiplash SimCam's race details. This is a 190 lap race, 237.5 miles. Your stages this evening, 50, 50, and 90. So the stage ends will be 50, 100, and 190. 5 change sets in the pit lane, 80% fuel. Fix setup, 3 green white checkers, and no fast fix available. It's going to be a fun one this evening here at Gateway. 28 cars in total, ready to go racing at Worldwide Technology Raceway. We'll turn things over to Johnny Wood Jr. and Mason Houseman on the front row into the Geico restart zone for the first time tonight. Green flag is in the air. We're racing at Gateway. One car in the wall, Coulter Clark, hard in the outside fence. He'll fall back. Mason Houseman charges to the inside of Johnny Wood Jr. The sun is going down. The lights are coming on. And we've got a race for the top spot. Side by side they go down the back straightaway. Johnny Wood Jr., Mason Houseman. Jared Hughes sits right in behind in that third spot. And looking forth, crash! Brendan Maddox, Gray Walker, 2 chasers. Maddox, I think, gets through. Scott Fritz, the other car involved there with Gray Walker. A driver that is very outspoken about his love for these driver racetracks. Unfortunately involved on lap number 2 of 190. We got through lap 1 okay. That was a concern for some. Gray Walker, it seems, not involved in this. Brendan Maddox is. Maddox sends Dustin Stallings off into the corner, and Stallings cleans out the 48 of Scott Fritz. Gray Walker had no piece of it. So that will be a pass-through penalty for chase driver Brendan Maddox. We'll watch this back and see his teammate Dustin Stallings trying to get in line in front of him. And miscommunicated about the braking point off into the corner. With the 00 cleaning out the 48 of Scott Fritz. It's an active pit lane here under caution number 1. Stallings and Fritz both in the pits. Also see Robert Moyer Jr. down there in a new paint scheme. Coulter Clark, Cody Dorsey in the pit lane. Unsure what Dorsey's working on, but he's here for a little bit. Coulter Clark. And we know what Scott Fritz and Dustin Stallings are working on. Of course, all that damage in that crash. They'll be there for a little bit. Could see both of those cars go laps down. It sounds like they're refiring. You might just be able to hear that. The field is coming up on them. Here's the field out of turn 4. It sounds like Stallings and Fritz is refired. He's rolling. Stallings is refired. He's rolling. They will get rolling and stay on the lead lap. Only just. So there's the choose. Couple of cars going to tag onto the back end of the field here as they're racing around to try and catch back up. Want to give a big thank you to those who make this league possible. The Buttkicker, Ascendance Trucks, Ideal Lease, and Sundance Pizza. All helping us out and making sure this league can be a possibility here on these Tuesday evenings. Geico restart zone once again for these drivers. Houseman on the inside. Wood on the outside. Green flag in the air, and Houseman, it seems, has the race lead. Down the backstretch goes everybody. Off of turn number 2 down to turn number 3. One of the longer straightaways on the schedule. With a big heavy braking zone at the end of it. Bit of a battle behind these guys. Isaiah Sutherland on the inside. Carl Puller down there. Matthew Catania on the outside. Matthew Selby there as well. Sutherland qualifying a little bit behind the mark tonight. He runs down in 11th. Would have expected him to be a little higher up. Qualified 13th. Caution, somewhere in the back, Josh Anderson in trouble it seems, and others involved. Two cars go around, three cars involved. Josh Anderson goes for a slide and a spin. And it looked like it was Eric Jensen who also had trouble. Zachary Maddox gets put in the wall. See, two cars got loose and broke around at the exact same time. Jensen in that 99 tail whipped the 14 of Maddox to put him in the fence. Maddox entered nice and gingerly on the top side. Jensen got loose and just came up the racetrack, and boom. So Zachary Maddox will not be happy about that. For Josh Anderson, you see him battling the wheel, and it just came around on him all at once. Overcorrected the car. It's been a struggle for Meatball Motorsports this season. The name didn't really help him too much, admittedly. I think that was the aim, though. Zachary King, of course, got that race win back at Atlanta. But for Anderson, it's been a season of struggles. A good looking paint scheme on that race car, though, I gotta say. It's a good looking hot rod. A brand new paint scheme that he's breaking out for the chase this season. Nice silver with black flames. As for the rest of the field, it's a bit of a slow go to get the race started. We can take a look at the weather conditions, though, going into this evening. 69.3 degrees in the air. 72 degrees on track, mostly cloudy skies, building towards fog. Oh, Selby around! Under yellow. Problems for the 46 car here. Take a look on board with him. Made his choice. Was coming up through the gears and missed one. Selby gonna duck off and take to the pit lane, it looks like, in the 46 machine. There he goes. The rest of the field will come around, and the green has been delayed. Caution has been extended. More cars headed to the pit lane. Dakota Bly, Coulter Clark, Sam Dyer all coming in to top off, it looks like. Hard to say if the delayed green was for the 46 or if it was for something else. And it looks like it might be day done for Matthew Selby. He just towed to the pit lane. I want to give a thank you to those who make it happen for us at Pit Stop TV. Whiplash Simcams, ATVO, CC's Business, Cody Williams Design, Lucky Performance, and North American Racing League, the newest partner of Pit Stop TV. Here we go, down to the Geico restart zone to get this thing restarted. Mason Houseman, Johnny Wood Jr., your front row. Green flag, back in the air at Gateway. Yeah, DLE's 250 back underway at Gateway. Houseman leads off at a turn number 3. Johnny Wood Jr. sits in second. Problems in the back. Eric Jensen down low. He will take what looks to be a penalty for the caution as we've got more trouble ahead. Dakota Camper in the 3. Had Matthew Catania close behind, and it seems Catania is going to get in deep and kind of bowl through a China shop there, right into the 3 of Camper and the 55 of Brandvold, and that, I'm surprised, is a caution. On board with Catania. Got into Camper, got him loose. Got into Brandvold, got him tight. Continued on. But for the 3, he gets hit there. And then gets way free, drifts through the grass, trying to hang on to it. Does a good job of hanging on to that race car. Pit stops back underway, moored on the pit lane. Now caution 3 here will take us to about lap 17, maybe lap 16. We've got to go to lap 50 for the end of stage 1, so a ways to go here. Now, throughout the course of the chase, we're going to do a better job, I'd say, of checking in with chase drivers and talking to them throughout the course of these 5 races in the chase. Here, a good excuse to look at the schedule. 5 races: St. Louis, Watkins Glen, Talladega, Rockingham, and Miami. So we're going to check in with more of these chase drivers more often throughout the course, the balance of the chase, and we're going to start that this evening with Gray Walker. As soon as he makes a choice here on which lane he wants to restart from, we'll grab the driver of the 25 and talk to him briefly. Lined up to restart about the 12th position here. Gray, how's the car feel?
It's feeling pretty good so far. So, just worried about these wrecks because there have been, I think, a couple guys who just been a couple positions in front of me. So just trying to avoid those right now. See where we end up.
Dangerous place to be in is that midfield. You qualified 15th. Did something go wrong in qualifying, or just trying to find more speed in race trim?
This whole week in practice, I just have not had very good quali pace. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna focus on my race pace. If I qualify low, we'll just have to deal with it, I guess. So.
Well, best of luck. Seems like you're doing a decent job so far, just trying to work through the field, and hopefully we can check back in with you later.
Yeah, thank you.
That's Gray Walker in car 25 this evening. One of our chase drivers has been very quiet this season and made it into the postseason with a chance to fight for a championship. Here we go. Green flag back in the air. Everybody back on the loud pedal. One lap complete off the restart. Your top 5 all single file. A couple of cars battling right behind, though. Zachary Brandvold to the inside of Richard Wolsifer. Matthew Catania moving up. Isaiah Sutherland on the move. One car in the wall is Zachary King. You'd almost think, based on car number font, that the 55 and 56 are teammates. They've got about the exact same font on their race cars, but right now, I don't think they're teammates at all. They are not happy with one another, I don't think. They've got very similar number fonts, but racing tooth and nail for this 5th position. Brandvold wants it. He's not in the chase. Wolsifer needs it. He is in the chase. And Brandvold goes up the racetrack, up into the 56 car. And Wolsifer, the 56, gets the wall. Wolsifer gonna go around off the nose of Matthew Catania. Just hangs on. No, he doesn't. Caution, no. No yellow for that. Richard Wolsifer has got to battle through even more adversity this season. The Stints built 56 in trouble. We'll look back at it here. Matthew Catania on the back end of that 56 car. And just got up into him. You saw the lockup there. Hit him around at the end. That checked up a whole portion of the field, but they all kept going. No caution. So Wolsifer now rides around in 27th position. Matthew Selby, one car that has called it a day. So Wolsifer rides in last effectively. Better run here so far. Jared Hughes putting pressure on second place. This is just about the best we've seen the 98 so far this season. And you can see the fog that's building around this racetrack. There's no definition in the sky. It's all just gray. Usually you would see definition in the clouds and such. But if we go to the scenic blimps that we have, look at how murky the track gets. There is significant fog building around the speedway, and as we head into the dark of night, that's only going to get worse. This is another situation just like Nashville, where if we had rain enabled, if iRacing allowed rain on oval circuits, we would likely be seeing it right now. Single file spread out throughout the field now, getting into a bit of a groove. Johnny Wood Jr. runs in second. Mason Houseman leads this race. Then it's Jared Hughes, Adam Buzzio, Stephen Borbell, your top 5, all chasers. Brandvold runs in 6th. Pooler runs in 7th, a couple of non-chase drivers. And then you get back to some chasers and Brendan Maddox and Gray Walker to come. Well, Isaiah Sutherland, Brendan Maddox, and Gray Walker. 3 drivers at the back end of the top 10, all looking for a championship this season. And how about Dakota Camper? Back nearly into the top 10. There we go. Runs in 11th spot right now, chasing down that 25 of Walker, who we talked to under that last caution. He's got about a half second back to Matthew Catania, and only about a quarter second up to Gray Walker. riding on board of Dakota Camper here for a lap or so. Now I want to come back on Richard Wolsifer here, who has made it back through a good portion of the field from 27th up to 22nd. So from position 27 to position 22. And he's got more on the way. You can see cars out of shape. That's Zachary King down low. So he'll pull up on the 51 car. Scott Fritz is there. Robert Moyer Jr., Jason Bottoms, all cars that I think this 56 car can pass. And there's one of them. He goes by Zachary King. Jason Bottoms a little bit out of shape in the 87 car. Running 18th right now. And here's a move. Robert Moyer Jr. to the inside of Jason Bottoms. This is for the 18th position. And Moyer gets free, just hangs on to the race car, nearly wiped out Scott Fritz. But that's another spot for Richard Wolsifer moving up. Meanwhile, Evan Buttkicker way up high. Can't call him down low, Buttkicker, with a line like that. Good to see Braxton Skidder improving from a 28th place qualifying run. Walter Clark a little bit sideways there through turn 2. Evan Buttkicker hanging on. And you see right behind him, Jason Bottoms got out of line, but here comes Braxton Skidder on Evan Buttkicker. Pass made. And now Scott Fritz works on Jason Bottoms. Bottoms on the bottom, gets loose. Slides. Just narrowly misses the wall, but loses all that time he'd been working on. That's going to be down to 25th spot, maybe 26th. It is. He just got the curbing on the inside of the racetrack and fell back. Wolsifer, bottom chase driver so far, is up to 19th. After that run-in with Matthew Catania. And I gotta say, what a performance here to get back through nearly 10 cars already. It's been about 10 laps. It's not an easy place to go and get positions, but he's making it look easy. Speaking of Catania, in the chase, has just lost the 11th spot, it looks like, to Dakota Camper. But is on pursuit again of that 3 as there's a caution. Oh my gosh, and it's Richard Wolsifer. Let's see what happened here to driver 56. Down into the corner, the car just broke around, and that has all the look-alike of being a downshift a little bit too soon. Sure enough, got lost in the gears. Let's roll that back. He's in 4th gear here. Didn't pull 5th. I don't know if he went to hit 3rd and hit it twice, or if he was trying to downshift twice and thought he was in 5th gear to begin with. Let's slow that down. So on board, watch the 4 on the dash. See, it drops down to a 2. So let's back that up again. Watch right here. That 4 drops to a 3, drops to a 2. I think he hit it twice. Unintentionally. goes for a spin, and that brings out another caution this evening. And we are going to see some big-time pit stops. Johnny Wood Jr., one of them. I think Johnny Wood Jr. expected to have more cars follow him, but it's very few and far between. The top 8 will all stay out. Top 10 will all stay out. Johnny Wood Jr. goes for 4, and he's going to drop back behind Braxton Skinner and Sam Dyer. So a good chunk of laps clicked off there. Let's dial up driver 75. And Johnny Wood Jr. opts to pit there. Now, Johnny, we're kind of wondering, why would you pit there when so many drivers stayed out? What's the hope here on this restart?
Let me choose real fast. Well, being in the front row, you kind of don't know people's going to pit until you get on pit road. So I figured more people may follow somebody up front down pit road, but clearly they were like, no way, Jose.
And there's plenty of tires there, I would say, to make this pit stop here. So why do you think they opted not to?
I mean, maybe just track position. I'm gonna try to work my way through the field and get back up there. Hopefully it stays green from here on out. I feel like that's kind of what it's doing after all that crazy cautions at the beginning.
A little bit of a gamble, would that be fair to say?
Yeah, pretty much. We'll try it, see if it works out.
Fair enough. Johnny Wood Jr. going to gamble here on this caution and give it his best for 15 laps to the stage ending. Best of luck here, Johnny.
Appreciate it.
Johnny Wood Jr. going to go ahead and take that pit stop and roll on with it. And give this thing a shot here at the end of stage number 1. Most of the field up front stays out. 10 cars all stayed out. That's Houseman, Hughes, Buzzio, Orbell, Brandvold, Pooler, Sutherland, Walker, Maddox, and Catania. Down the backstretch we go. Richard Wolsifer moving around. Watch the 75 here as these laps click off. Turn 3, the trouble spot so far tonight, but here comes the 75. Patsinka gets a little bit up the racetrack. Here comes Camper as well. He's on 4 tires. Johnny Wood Jr. down to the inside of Braxton Skinner. Now we'll see just how much those new tires really mean in a green flag scenario. Back on board with Johnny Wood. Dives up underneath Gray Walker and Braxton Skinner. Caution. Caution somewhere. It's Zachary King, it looks like. Scott Fritz and Richard Wolsifer, wouldn't you know it? Wolsifer in another crash. And same thing. Broke around with a bad shift. Jason Bottom's involved. Something is wrong with that 56 car. The shifter has gone bad, it looks like. That or he's double tapping a paddle or something is going on. Watch him break around right here in a hurry. Zachary King gets involved, Jason Bottoms has nowhere to go, and Scott Fritz just locks up into it. We'll get the Jason Bottoms cam out for this one. Right behind Zachary King. He was 2 cars back of the spinning car and got involved pretty heavily, but I'm surprised that he says the car is okay because it looks like it would damage the suspension pretty good there. Certainly damage the nose of that NOS Energy Ford Mustang. And he will take it to the pit lane. A lot of cars in the pits. Richard Wolsifer, one of them. Scott Fritz, another. Coulter Clark. Zachary Maddox, still nursing damage. Zachary King might be out of this race. Jason Bottoms, Cody Dorsey, and Dakota Bly. So 3/4 of Full Send Racing are all in the pit lane. Bottoms, Dorsey, and Bly all at the same time here. Let's see here. Does Zachary King end up staying in the pit lane? I'm kind of thinking he does with all that damage he's got. Let's dial up driver 51 as he goes a lap down and see what happens. Zachary, from your perspective, what happened there to that caution?
Yeah, you know, he just got loose in front of me. I tried to avoid it and just wasn't able to. It's a bad situation, but it is what it is. That's our day done. So come back strong next week, I guess, at Watkins.
Is that your day completely done, or can you get back out there after a while?
Nah, too much damage. We're done for the day. So it's first DNF of the season, first DNF of my career. So it is what it is. We'll just come back next week. It sucks for all my team. Meatball Motorsports, K1 Speed, Gilbert Flynn Commercial, and everybody.
Well, it's unfortunate for sure, but best of luck next time.
Thank you, Andrew. Have a great night, buddy.
That's Zachary King in trouble here. In stage number 1, not going to survive the first stage. Unfortunate. And so the field moves on. A lot of cars stacking up on that outside line. You'll see Richard Wolsifer have to serve a penalty for causing that crash. That's his second of the night, second in a row. But here we go. Mason Houseman. Jared Hughes, green flag, back in the air. One car hard in the inside wall. Scott Fritz with a lot of damage. Trying to nurse the car back around. I don't think he's going to get very far. Let's go back and see what just happened to Scott Fritz. A checkup on a restart. Zachary Maddox gets into him. Hard to say where the checkup happened. Right there, actually, with Cody Dorsey. The field keeps moving, no caution for it. Isaiah Sutherland, Brennan Maddox, Stephen Borbell, all fighting here into turn 3. And where is Johnny Wood Jr. on those new tires? He runs 10th. I don't think he's going to get back there. I don't think this is going to pay off. Initially, I thought it would, but I don't think those tires are good enough. On board of the mirror. 3 wide off the corner right in front of him. I mean, there is nowhere to go. With Catania, Brandvold, and Maddox stacked up like that, where are you going to pass? He's going to find a way. Dives to the inside of Maddox. Crash right in front of him. The 24 car around. Isaiah Sutherland in trouble. Dustin Stallings around. And we'll check with race control on whether or not that will end the stage, but let's go back and see what caused this. Stephen Borbell, Isaiah Sutherland racing with each other. We had just chronicled this, and Borbell just got loose and got down into him. Maddox gets a piece going by. Stallings tried to squeeze by, and that's a big, heavy impact to this race. Borbell got loose, spins him around. Maddox in the wall hard. Stallings around. Stallings looks like he'll be okay. I fear for the 8. On board with Brendan Maddox. Remember, he was on the outside of Johnny Wood Jr. there. Bit of a jump scare. He'll stay out, though, as more cars come in. Carl Pooler comes in. Of course, Cody Dorsey and a lot of those guys come in. Isaiah Sutherland is in. And since I am solo this evening, there's one driver out that has had an interest in broadcasting with us at Pit Stop TV, and we're going to give him an opportunity here to do so. It's Zachary King, who we were just talking with, out of this race after the incident down to turn 1 with Richard Wolsifer and others. Zachary, an opportunity here to step into the booth, and it sounds like you're willing to accept. Obviously, the car done for the day, but what kind of outlook can you give us on this race at this point in time, coming up on the end of Stage 1? Obviously, this is a difficult car and track combo, but what's it like out there?
So yeah, the track's really rough, but it's gonna be about survival mostly. That was the main thing that I was focused on earlier on in the week, and all throughout the week was just surviving. So it's gonna come down to whoever can survive, which Mason's pretty good at. Mason, Jared, they're pretty good at surviving. Steven, gotta look at the stats. Steven's finished in the top 10 almost every race this season, so that's gonna be a good one good eye to have on him.
Well, unfortunately, I think Borbell is going to be headed to the pit lane here on this restart to end the stage. We're going to have 2 laps to go to end Stage 1, and I would have to imagine that the 2 car will have to take this one after that incident with Isaiah Sutherland, but we'll see. We'll give it a fair opportunity in case maybe I'm looking at things wrong, but yeah, I think the 2 cars can be headed to the pit lane here. I think otherwise, you're absolutely dead on it. We've got a lot of cars up front that you expect to be up front, a few cars up front that you don't expect. 1 car back on the way, that's Johnny Wood Jr., who pitted a little bit earlier, trying to get his way back through this field. I think his gamble has backfired. Got a lot of interesting storylines just in this first stage of racing at Gateway this evening. We'll come around to the Geico restart zone one more time and get this race restarted for stage number 1, the completion thereof. 2 laps to go in stage 1, green flag, back in the air. We are racing again at Gateway.
Racing fires off really strong on that restart. Maddox looking to make it 3, no. Spinner,
1 car
Catania.
spinning. Catania down through the grass, gets the inside wall. We continue on, no caution. Watch Borbell. He didn't duck in there. Do you think he knows where to pit?
I believe so, he should. He's the one that told Adam that we needed to have it at a turn 2, so, at a turn 3, entering turn 3, I'm sorry. I don't know, I think pits are closed here, though.
All right, we'll have to follow that up. But down the backstretch here to end stage number 1, Mason Houseman on his way to another stage win. Jared Hughes right behind. Do you think he would lay a bumper for a stage win?
It's too early in the chase. I don't think you'd be doing it with 5 races to go. With 1 race to go, I'd say you would have to lay the bumper, but with first race of the chase, you gotta mind your P's and Q's early and then attack at the end.
Stage 1 complete. Houseman, Hughes, Buzzio, Borbell, and Brandvold. Johnny Wood Jr. 6th. Brendan Maddox 7th. And Gray Walker, Dakota Camper, and Braxton Skinner from 28th position, able to make it up into the top 10 by the end of stage 1. I know it's early, but that's driver of the day kind of stuff right there.
I have to agree with you on that one. The accelerate guys really always have. They never start off with speed, but always later on in the races, you just kind of see one of them or two of them are always in that top 10, fighting for something, fighting for a 5th place with somebody like Isaiah Sutherland, Borbell, Buzzio, Dawling. Sometimes once they find their groove, and they find it pretty quickly, and sometimes it takes a little while, but when they find their groove, they're up there a lot. So
there you see.
Proud of my boy Braxton.
And there you see stage winner Mason Houseman. It'll be an opportunity to stay out for Johnny Wood Jr., and that may pay dividends. We'll see. But he will stay out under this caution. I think I still would have pitted and come and got the tires, but not a bad opportunity here to stay out.
We got to think about it. Probably ran maybe 6 or 7 laps on these tires hard. Maybe if he's pushing. He's pretty good at saving his tires, so I think it's a better strategy because over time you're going to need the points. So sacrifice it here and be up front for stage 2. Try to win stage 2 and get those extra 10 points. It's going to be huge for these playoffs.
And of course, on the far side of these pit stops, we'll dial up our stage winner, Mason Houseman, and I'll talk to him here briefly. But a quiet stage up front, a lot of cars minding their P's and Q's. Eric Jensen going to be down and away quickly, it looks like, with a 6-second pit stop. Robert Moyer, a 4-second pit stop. These guys taking fuel only. They've already taken tires at some point. That's going to mix things up and jumble up this field even more as the top 4 all stay out as well. That's Johnny Wood Jr., Dakota Camper, Braxton Skinner, and Josh Anderson.
I gotta say, if you can manage the tires, which a lot of us can do, a lot of us can manage our tires. The tires weren't really that bad after a long run last night in the practice race or in practices during this week. So that's gonna be something to look out too. At some people can save their tires, and some people can make it last really long and still have good speed.
Yeah, I think it was evident by Johnny Wood Jr. not making much headway on those brand new tires that old tires are still pretty serviceable here at Gateway. But let's dial up stage 1 winner Mason Houseman, able to grab a stage win to kick off the chase, and in his brand new paint scheme as well. Mason, tell us about it.
You know, I just wanted to do a paint scheme that would, you know, just remember my 2 seasons here, you know, because I won't be here for the entirety of, or I will be here for some of the races next season. But I just wanted to say thank you to everybody that was a part of it, and to you guys, and to Rev Sim Shop, and to all the sponsors that helped this league out.
And we've talked about it a little bit before, but why will you be missing so many races in Season 4?
Well, July 15th, I go to Laughlin Air Base in Texas. I will be doing basic. I am in the Air National Guard for Iowa, and I will be serving my country in the best way I can.
Got to commend you on doing so. Focus back up on the race here, though, this evening. A stage win and looking good for you, but how do you fight through this field on this restart?
I don't know. It's going to be rough. I know we got a lot of faster guys up here. I don't really have the short run speed. I have a lot more longer run speed. But just try to get through it as smooth as I can, because I do not want to wreck this car.
Sure enough, don't want to wreck any car, but certainly not that car. Best of luck here on the restart.
Thank you, guys.
Mason Houseman coming around to the green flag. We'll get another opportunity to get this race back under green. You see the green flag in Barney's hand, and the green is back out. We're racing once again in the Idealese 250.
To third is Anderson. Fuller's starting to close the gap. He's up to 4th, it looks like. Still fighting with Braxton Skinner.
One
Looks like
car on the
Richard Wilson's
wall.
gonna push him.
Gray Walker and Coulter Clark both knocked down the fence out of turn 2. Everybody else continues on straight.
Mason gets a little loose out of 4.
I must have missed it. Pooler and Wolsifer also stayed out, so 6 cars stayed out under that caution. Wolsifer and Pooler had just pitted later. So they've got newer tires on their machines. As one car goes up the racetrack, that was Eric Jensen. He's in trouble and sliding back in a hurry. Ray Walker dives down to the inside of the 99 car. Coulter Clark, Dustin Stallings, they'll take a look.
Skinner still holding on to 4th position. That's not a bad spot for him. He's driving pretty well today.
Yeah, and again, he started 28th in this race as Mason Houseman makes a dive here on Richard Wolsifer, one of his past teammates. But Braxton Skinner is looking really, really good so far tonight. Started this race back in 28th position, as I said before. Currently 4th, he's been as high as 3rd. That is about as good as it gets coming from behind. The 16, though, down in the grass. Robert Moyer Jr. through the grass in turns 3 and 4. He's going to dive back down to the pit lane. He is already 1 lap down. He'll become 2 laps down, I think, with this pit stop.
Mason to the inside of Skinner, side by side in the middle of 1 and 2. Skinner might have the run here off exit.
The top side, always so potent, is defending. So good to defend from the top side here at Gateway, but the bottom is going to be better for the 78 of Houseman. He'll go right on by in turn 3, and truthfully, I think Braxton might have let him in. Doesn't want to fight too much and get side by side like that for too long. That just holds you up as one car spins. It's Jensen. Down in the wall.
Jensen from bad to worse.
And he's going to stop. There's going to be a caution. No yellow.
They green contact. Buzzio
Now
and
there's a
Bramble
caution.
get together.
Randvold in the wall. And this will bring out a caution flag. Take a look back at this for Zachary Brandvold in the 55. He got up the racetrack there in turn 1. Buzzio got loose. And I don't know that I can place that on either driver. They both made mistakes there and just got into each other.
It's pretty tight, but I think race control probably put that blame on Buzzio because he got loose and then collected a car. So might fall on Buzzio, but I just think that's hard racing, really.
Randvold got in there deep and locked up. You saw the left front stumble. Buzzio got free. And it was mostly netcode that turns the 55 car around. I'm going to show that off here on the replay one more time. Back it up. Slow this down. And watch the left front tire on that 55 car right here. Just the frames kind of stop. You can see it lock up a little bit. And just carries all the way into the corner. That is exactly the problem for Brandvold. That's why he gets up the racetrack here. Because he locked up that left front, it wasn't turning, it wasn't gripping the racetrack. And you even saw the rotor start to glow. So that is a big problem, and that is exactly what causes this situation in the first place. But then, of course, Buzzio gets free and goes up the racetrack and gets into the 55. Granted, there was some netcode there.
I think Red's gonna run that, or race control's gonna quote that as a racing incident. Both cars got loose and made contact, so.
And Brandvold now sits in the pit lane getting repairs. It didn't seem like there was too much damage, but certainly want to make sure that car is in tip-top shape before he gets back out there. And Brendan Maddox getting some repairs. We saw the incident with Isaiah Sutherland on the front stretch. Cody Dorsey in the pit lane. Zachary Maddox still getting repairs. Robert Moyer Jr. has gone 2 laps down. Eric Jensen's gone 3 laps down. He's in the pit lane, and I think he'll be there for a little while.
Braxton Skinner pitted under that caution. Now back in 22nd, it looks like.
Yep, there's Skinner. Half of me wants to talk to him, half of me doesn't, because I don't want to jinx what he's got going so far. I'd love to chat with him, but I would hate to jinx him.
We should definitely come back to him later on in the race if he's still running up front. He's got speed. I believe in him. I feel like he can get up there. But it's going to be a matter of time. He's got the pace. He's got this. I believe in him.
I'm going to lock in today's first contender for Lucky Performance, Lucky Break of the Day here, and I'm going to say it's the 5 car not getting a penalty, because that absolutely could have been a penalty for him. But if race control is saying that's a racing deal, that sounds like it won't be a penalty. So as long as the 5 gets no penalty here, that is potentially a Lucky Break of the Day. That is huge, because I don't think either driver did wrong there. They just each made a mistake going into the corner. And there was even some netcode to help aid that caution. So I really don't believe that should be on the 5. And it sounds like it won't be. So I think that's my first contender for Lucky Performance, Lucky Break of the Day. We'll keep up with that as the day goes on. But here we are. Stage 2. Going to get back underway. Green flag back in the air. And we are racing once again at Gateway.
Wood fires off really strong on that restart, but look who's right there in second. Now on the outside, Mason Houseman working his way through the field. Back up to second out of 2.
Richard Wilson over to the inside of Josh Anderson. Anderson bobbles and goes all the way up the racetrack. Anderson way in trouble out there. Comes back off the banking, right in front of Jared Hughes. Caution, deep in the field. It's Brandvold. And this time it's not a lockup. It's going to be Cody Dorsey that gets the 55 car. Zachary Maddox gets a piece going by, and that is going to be huge for both of those drivers. It's a lot of rear end damage to sustain for the 55 car, and a lot of front end damage for the 14. On board with Zachary Maddox. And so that's our most recent cause for caution. Under this caution, we can take a look at what's upcoming for us here at Pit Stop TV, and we're trying to get drivers signed up still for the Sarah Team Clash. That's March 6th, this Thursday. So that's a potential broadcast, we'll say. We're hoping that it happens, but we need enough teams to sign up in order for that event to take place. Well, the event will take place regardless, but we need enough drivers and teams to sign up for that event to be broadcasted here on Pit Stop TV. Then Tuesday next week, we go racing at Watkins Glen, a little bit of road course racing. Zach, how do you feel about that?
Man, road courses are like a double-edged sword. Sometimes you're good at them, sometimes you're not. It's really about just putting the laps in and getting as much seat time as you can at these road courses.
See how things shake out next week in the second race of the chase here for the BRB Racing League. And then Thursday next week, we go racing for the first time in the North American Racing League in about a year. It'll be their first race back in quite some time. Season number 7 will be underway with GT3 cars headed to some of the world's best circuits, beginning with VIR, Virginia International Raceway. And you know, that's a racetrack I'd love to see a stock car league take place at. I would love to see a stock car league go to VIR and try it out. It's such a good track. It's got length, it's got speed, it's got tight corners, twisty corners, it's got passing opportunities, it's got everything you could want in a road course. And it would be really, really cool to see some stock cars up around there, but we'll see some GT3 cars take to VIR again March 13th. It'll be race number 1 of 8 for the series. You can catch all of these broadcasts and more at Pit Stop TV's social media platforms. We broadcast on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. We also have Instagram and X for other social media needs. It's not quite driver of the day conversation time just yet here, Zachary, but I'm going to ask you here for an early kind of look, other than Braxton Skinner. Who do you think is in contention for that driver of the day award?
Gonna be a little bit biased here, but I gotta go with the 07. He struggled with wrecks and stuff all season, but today he looks like he's putting in the performance, sitting in 6th. So I'm gonna have to give it to my teammate.
And he hasn't caused caution this evening. He spun around earlier. Maybe not a caused caution, but he was a part of the cause of a caution earlier, I'll say. I think there was another car that went around with him at the same time. But he was part of a caution earlier, spun around. So this is a good recovery for him so far to get back up on the wheel and get after it this evening. Let's take a look at this restart. Lap 67 coming to lap 68. Green flag back in the air. We're racing once again at Gateway. Through turns 3 and 4, Carl Pooler, Dakota Camper battling side by side. Pooler will win. At least that battle. A nice fight right behind them. It's going to be the 56 and the 5. Wolsifer and Buzzio. Buzzio scrapes the wall. Wolsifer will lose speed though. Buzzio is going to have him clear by turn 3. As Jared Hughes gets on by Josh Anderson. Anderson falls back to 8th.
A little bit of contact between Catania and Anderson, middle of turn 3 and 4.
Gonna dive down to turn 1. Houseman goes fastest that lap. He runs in 2nd. Catania on the inside though of Josh Anderson. That's what we're looking at. One car slow. Braxton Skinner on the inside of the racetrack going to lose a lot of spots. He's going to fall back to 18th. Josh Anderson still working on Matthew Catania. Catania working on him. Back and forth they go. Stephen Borbell right behind him.
And look who's right behind them, Evan Patinko. Maybe it looks like he can pounce on these guys if he can.
Dustin Stallings had a moment off of turn 4 that time, but yes, Patinko looking good, trying to break into the top 10. That would be for some stage points. Might have something here on Anderson. Out ahead, Mason Houseman starting to make inroads on that lead to Johnny Wood Jr. We go on board with car 78. And you can see the delta between these two drivers, 0.4 of a second. And Houseman just scrapes the wall off the corner.
Houseman can just rip that bottom in 3 and 4, and it's just closing up on Wood every lap.
These two have driven away from 3rd place. They've got quite the gap back to Carl Pooler. Then there's a gap back to Jared Hughes and Dakota Camper. Camper going to lose that fight. Hughes goes on by. I said it earlier and I'll say it again. This is about as good as Jared Hughes has looked all season. He looks really, really good tonight. Really, really strong. This flat racetrack seems to be to his liking. And you know, it's not just him. Adam Buzzio's been looking good too. One of the better races for him so far. So there could really be something to this next level racing thing here at Gateway tonight. Even Borbell's looked really good. In fact, Borbell's on the inside of Catania. They battle for 8th.
I love these night races. You can just see the rotors glowing on entry. It's awesome.
And you'll see a lot of rotor glow here, a lot of heavy braking into the corners. You really got to be on the brakes into turn 1, into turn 3. Got a trail brake through the middle of the corner, get back on power. You might have to get the brakes on quarter exit if you get a little too tail happy. And we've got ourselves a battle for the race lead. Mason Houseman down to about 2-3 tenths between himself and Johnny Wood Jr. You know, we said earlier, tires didn't look to be that much of a deal here. It didn't seem like new tires versus old tires was that much of a conversation. But I would say that Mason Houseman is proving that wrong. He's got 23 lap newer tires than Johnny Wood Jr. 23 laps. It's a long time.
Yeah, I thought it'd be like maybe 10-15 laps. 23 laps is a while on these tires. As you see Mason go to the inside, side by side in the middle of the corner and on exit. Is Mason gonna be able to get the drive off? No. Wood still holds on, but Mason is there.
Contact between these two down at turn 1. Mason carries the 75 at the racetrack, and you know, I love Mason Houseman. He helps us out here at Pit Stop TV. He's a great guy. But that seems to be his passing style. He gets to the inside of you and he lets you know he's going to make the pass, whether you like it or not. And if he has to use your door, oh well. He's just been super aggressive this season, and I don't mind it. I think it's a good thing. He's just been aggressive.
I think he learned, just going off of last season, I think he learned like once some of these new guys started to come in, he had to up his game. And sometimes when you have to up your game, you have to drive a little bit more aggressively. And he's doing it, but he's not really causing any issues with it either. So
yeah, I mean, he's clearly got the speed to run the 75 down and pass him. So there is that. And he has started to set sail from Johnny Wood Jr. Jared Hughes, Carl Puller in trouble. Down through the grass, gets back on the racetrack. We've seen that before this evening. Grass all over turn 4 now. He will get back in line in 10th. That puts Jared Hughes in 3rd, Adam Buzzio in 4th. I gotta say,
take a moment.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, okay. I gotta say, Richard Wolford drove himself back up through the field. I mean, caused 2 incidents today. Looks like he gets a little loose on entry, but he's back up there. I mean, he's got pace in that car. Just to control the car, not money shift.
Great minds think alike, because you and I were about to say the exact same thing. Richard Wolsifer has driven himself to the front twice now in this race. Gets back up here. What a recovery drive, and I would say not collecting too much damage in those crashes could be reason to say that's the lucky performance, lucky break of the day, right? I mean, he's gone for 2 money shift spins, somehow hasn't damaged the drivetrain, somehow hasn't damaged the car too much to where he can't contend. He's back up in this top 10. He runs 6th, maybe 7th if Camper goes by. He's looking really good, all things considered.
I mean, I gotta agree with you there. That is a lucky performance break of the day to a T. I mean, we get a yellow on the track.
Caution, Jason Bottoms turned around. And he's just going to tow and I think call it a day. He's had a rough one. He's been involved in another couple of incidents already so far. And this incident comes out of turn number 4. It's a lot like earlier where he just got the curbing on the inside and goes for a spin. Then he got in the wall trying to turn the car back around and just said, nope, I'm done.
Sometimes these curves sometimes they'll grip up, or sometimes they'll just spit you out and you're spinning. It's a tough thing to try. I mean, sometimes it works, other times it's a situation right here. Just get on the curb just a little too much, spins the car around.
So problems with the Jason Bottoms fan club, and he's had a rough one.
That seems like that whole team every week has just one car that has an issue and they're not able to run up front. But
it stops.
You know,
a lot of them: Camper, Catania, Anderson, Walker, Patinko, Skinner, Fritz, Maddox, Clark. Dorsey, Belay, Dyer, and the other Maddox. They all come in here. The highlight of this pit stop cycle is going to be Dakota Camper. He was running in the top 5, or thereabout. He's going to go for 4 tires and get down and away and win this race off the pit lane. You know, Gray Walker was in that top 10 earlier in the day and has since kind of quieted down. See, as high as 7th. We talked to him under one of the first few cautions, and it sounded positive, but so far it has been anything but. He's had a couple of shining moments, but Gray Walker, I think, is the struggling driver of the chase so far tonight, along with Richard Wolsifer. I think those two have had the most struggles of chase drivers. And it hasn't been anything big for Gray. It's just been little things. Like, it doesn't quite seem to have what the other guys leading it have here at Gateway. And that can change. I think he's shown this season that he's really good at most racetracks. So give him an opportunity to shine at, say, Rockingham or Miami, and I think he's back in this thing, but he's got 2 wildcard races to go through at Watkins Glen and Talladega where anything can happen.
It's very surprising to see Gray Walker struggle, I guess if you could say the word, just struggle to be up front today. Usually he's one of the better guys on that Accelerate Racing team. Maybe he can just pull it in and figure it out and try to get back up to the front.
We'll have 16 laps to go here in stage number 1. Stage 2, rather. Stage 2. I promise it's stage 2. I have about 16 laps to go. Mason Houseman will lead. Johnny Wood Jr. second. Then Adam Buzzio and Jared Hughes. Stephen Borbell, Richard Wolsifer. Isaiah Sutherland and Dustin Stallings. And Carl Pooler and Dakota Camper will restart 10th. If this goes green, you might have to watch out for the 3. He might have some speed on those new tires. We'll have to wait and see. Waiting on the green flag in the Geico restart zone. Green flag is out. We're racing again.
How bad was that fall off for Johnny Wood Jr.? I mean, he's getting back to Mason's bumper here on the restart. But you gotta think, these older tires, and now we're back with the pack, he might get swallowed up here.
Time will tell on this restart and this short run to the end of stage 2. Buzzio gets through to 3rd. Hughes gets checked up. He's on the outside in 5th. One car around. It's Camper. In the wall hard is the 3.
Oh, back up across the track. Oh my. You just talked about him. Ah.
Saying
old tires.
If it could have gone green, if there wasn't a caution, he might have a shot here for stage points. Instead, he is the caution. And with 15 to go, it's got a lot of left front damage. And of course, I say 15 to go in the stage. He's got plenty to go in the race, plenty of time to get back out there. But that's a lot of damage to take on this late in the race. We're literally at halfway, I think. Or about to be. About to be. Well, halfway tonight would be 95.
That's close enough, 8 laps.
Well, let's dial up another chase driver this evening. Somebody who's had some struggles. And, you know, I talk about Gray Walker and Richard Wolsifer. This is another guy who's had struggles tonight. It'll be the 0 car of Dustin Stallings. He's been involved in a couple of different incidents. None so far of his own doing that I've seen, that I can recall anyways. But we'll dial up 2-time winner this season, Dustin Stallings, and talk to him, as the 0 car has had a few struggles tonight. But, Girl Dad, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you guys?
Well, I think better than you are. It's been a roller coaster for you so far, as high as 7th, as low as 28th. What's going on for you?
Honestly, I didn't get much practice this week because just dealing with PC issues, and luckily I got everything sorted out yesterday, and then been dealing with page faults and stuff and slight stutter problems, and tonight's been pretty good. But I'm just kind of vibing around, just kind of just being patient and just taking my time.
We've seen you involved in a couple of incidents, including that one on lap 2 where your teammate got into you. What happened there, and how's the car feel now?
It's just, I think it was just like kind of miscommunication between me and him. He didn't expect me to brake as early as I did, and I probably had like a little over a minute of damage after that, and I just got it fixed. And I think there was another incident when Isaiah got around on the front stretch. I had a little bit, but car's been handling good ever since the damage been fixed. It's just trying to be cautious and just try to avoid other incidents that happen around me.
And of course, it's so early in this chase, but do you think you can overcome the struggles here and get a good start to the chase this evening? It's a short chase, only 5 races. 3 of them are skill tracks. 2 of them are wild cards in the road course in Talladega. I mean, do you think you can get over this and get a good start to the chase?
Maybe. It all depends on if I can put together a solid finish tonight. Just with how the cars have been handling here, it's kind of in a way, in my opinion, it's a little bit of a wild card. But if we can get green flag runs here, I think I can get some good momentum after tonight going. So I just need green flag runs, get in a rhythm, and I think I'll be pretty good.
Best of luck here on this restart.
Thank you.
That's Dustin Stallings this evening in car number 0. Good to talk to him as always. He'll be restarting down in the 10th position. He's had some trouble so far. Got a couple wins on the season, though. If we go back and look at these point standings coming into this evening, you see he's got those 2 wins. He is the bottom, though, of those multi-time race winners. So he's looking for a lot of points tonight to try and keep up with those guys ahead of him. 24 back, he wants to be more like 15 back, if not 11 back, if not tied. So he's got a lot of work to do. Back into the Geico restart zone we go. 11 laps to go in stage number 2. Green flag, back in the air at Gateway. Catania way down low in the 18. Where is he going? He's on the inside of Pooler. Dives up the inside. Nearly to Borbell. 3 wide off of turn 4.
And if I recall correctly, I think Catania made it 3 wide earlier on in the race with Camper and had a little bit of contact there earlier on in the race. It's very sketchy to go 3 wide here.
Yeah, it is, especially down in 3 and 4. Really, even in 1 and 2, it doesn't matter where you go, unless it's a straightaway, it's scary. Johnny Wood Jr. on the back end of Mason Houseman here. Looks like maybe those tires have plateaued for the 78, because Johnny Wood has got some speed.
Johnny just got that car gripping almost the middle line, and he's able to fire off, and he's closing that gap up. He's right there.
Catania's moving forward as well. He's up to 6th, looking at 5th. He's got some brand new tires, and he's trying to make the best of them. Gets into Jared Hughes a little bit. This is the aggression you need to see from somebody that deep in the points. Coulter Clark sliding. Locks it down, continues on, no caution.
What a save by Coulter Clark there.
Catania will settle for 6th for now, gets back in line behind Jared Hughes. But I don't think there's any settling right now in the 75 camp. He wants that stage win. He has to make up for the fact that he had fewer stage points in stage 1. So Johnny Wood Jr.
I mean,
is still on the back end here of Mason Houseman. That was 7 laps to go in the stage.
Gotta be thinking, Johnny Wood knows how Mason raced him earlier on in the stage when Mason had fresher tires. Does he return the favor here with this late in the stage? Maybe coming to the green-white checkered or...
Oh, Evan Buttkicker slaps the inside wall hard. Back up the racetrack, spinning. This will be a caution.
That was a hard lick for that 81 car.
And just like earlier, we'll have a situation where this could end the stage. Before it didn't, this time it might.
Words from Race Control will not end the stage, so we will get another green-white checkered finish for stage.
Big hit for the 81 car. Good job, though, to keep it out of harm's way.
I know these are sins, but sometimes these hits, you quiver at them. Sometimes with some people that have really good setups and like good wheels, that could be a serious impact. Hopefully he's alright.
Yeah, I would hate to have that kind of hit on a direct drive wheel. Or a motion rig. Watch the 3 here. We'll go on board with him. Dakota Camper. Oh, man, that's going to be problems, and he throws the car in the wall to miss it.
Just a little bit of damage on that, but hey, it's better than plowing somebody in the driver door and blowing your engine, so.
Yeah. So problems for Camper, but he will continue on. Going to come in and get some repairs made. Along with Pooler, Skinner, Dorsey, Fritz, Clark, Brandvold, Bly, Dyer, and Patinko.
I'm gonna be honest with you, that might be like the lucky performance break of the day right there. He could have plowed him really hard, ended his race, but still in the fight. Get a little bit of damage.
Good call. And that happens right at halfway in this race. With half the race down, half the race to go. And we've already got a couple of contenders for Lucky Performance, Lucky Break of the Day. I gotta say, this race is taking a while. It has really strung out. A lot of cautions this evening. 12 for 37 so far. Only a few lead changes between the 75 and 78 cars. They are the only 2, I believe, that have led a lap. And just doing some quick math, if this is halfway, another half of this race, this thing could be going until midnight Eastern, which is a long, long night. That is well past the prescribed distance usually. We're typically ending these things around 11.
Yeah, we're gonna be pushing 11:45, 12 o'clock if it keeps up at this pace.
And that will not make some of the wives very happy. I wonder if that ever crosses these drivers' minds. I really do. Like, hey, if I make this move, this could bring out a caution. Is my wife gonna like that? I wonder.
You know, never thought of it that way, but you know, sometimes later in these races, and you're going to a scheduled lap distance and not an endurance race, that might have to come into the fold with some of these guys, you know.
All the top 10 are chase drivers. 11th is a non-chase driver, that's Josh Anderson. Then 12th is a chase driver, that's Gray Walker. Then Dakota Camper sits in the back. The cream has risen to the top for the end of stage 2. Green flag back in the air. Jared Hughes with a problem. Hughes with a big, big problem. Maddox followed. Coulter Clark spinning. That might bring out a caution. No yellow yet. Fritz in the wall. We stay green. 1 lap to go in stage 2. Paul Martin checking in the YouTube chat, and 1 car around, it's Carl Pooler. No caution yet, there it is. That'll be the stage. And you know who I think my highlight of the stage is going to be?
Who's that, Andrew?
3rd place. Richard Wolsifer. He has gone to the back and back up to the front multiple times this evening, as low as 27th. And he runs in 3rd after starting 6th. He's had 2 caused cautions, and he has fought back up here to the 3rd position for the end of stage 2. That's the driver we'll be talking to at the far end of this caution. We'll check in with Richard and see how he's doing behind the wheel. The rest of the top 10 here at the end of stage 2 will be Mason Houseman, Johnny Wood Jr., Richard Wolsifer in 3rd, Isaiah Sutherland in 4th, Matthew Catania in 5th, Adam Buzzio, Dustin Stallings, Gray Walker, Stephen Borbell, and Josh Anderson grabs a stage point.
Atta boy, Josh.
So here comes the field. Down the long access road on the inside of turns 3 and 4. And to their pit stalls. Just about everybody pitting. You do see some staying out. That'll be Zachary Maddox, Dakota Camper, Carl Pooler, and some others. And this should be a pretty cut and dry 4-tire and fuel pit stop. I expect these drivers to stop one more time in this race. I don't know that they can go much beyond 60 laps or so to a tank. You might know, Zach. How long can these guys go on a tank?
Inside the car, I was able to get 65 laps, but that wasn't shifting. So that's going to be another thing. If these drivers are shifting, they're going to be burning a little bit more fuel than people who weren't shifting. So 65 would be like your number if you are not shifting. If you are shifting, I'd say it goes down to maybe 60, 55, 60.
That number was pretty spot on then, and I'll tell you what, I pulled that on my rear end. I was a complete guess. Well, let's dial up Richard Wolsifer and talk with him quickly before this caution wraps up, as he goes 3rd here in stage number 2 and has had a roller coaster kind of night, have you, Richard? It's been up and down all around. What's gone on for you?
Oh man, it's been a wild night. I was a little concerned going into the race from practice race, but those 2 issues I had, it was just money shifting. I went from 4th to 2nd instantly, so kind of glad that I was able to basically keep the car under control a little bit, except for the second one. I feel bad for getting King involved and everybody, but now we're back up here in front where I kind of want to be and feeling good. So,
well, Zachary King is up here in the booth with me. Zach, do you have any questions for the guy who wrecked you out tonight? It's a joke, by the way. I promise.
I was waiting.
He's a playoff driver. You got to get them more respect when you're not on the outside. So, I mean, it is what it is. It happens. But yeah, Richard, I mean, you're doing a great job, buddy. From doing those 2 self spins earlier on in the race, now you're up. You finished 3rd in the stage. Great job, bro.
Yeah, thank you, King. And again, I apologize, dude.
Nah, you're good, dog. It is what it is.
That's Richard Wolsifer. Richard, best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
Fun little moment there. Richard Wolsifer coming up and talking with the driver that he wrecked out, unfortunately. That is what it is.
That was awesome.
one of the better moments this evening, I gotta say. But here we go into stage 3 with Braxton Skinner and Dakota Camper on the front row. Green flag back in the air as Braxy Tat leads us to the green.
Yes, that was awesome.
Oh, he's getting swallowed up there. Here comes his teammate, Coulter Clark, on the inside. He makes contact. Mason Houseman looking for a way by. Wolsifer deep into turn 3 on the outside of Adam Buzzio. Buzzio slips up. Houseman already through to 2nd. Camper on his outside. And Skinner has led a lap.
Atta boy, Bracky Tat.
Camper around, sideways, hangs on to it. Everybody checks up. Johnny Wood Jr. up the racetrack. There we go. Crash. Richard Wolsifer involved. Brendan Maddox, Dakota Camper, Richard Wolsifer, and Dustin Stallings all involved on the inside of turn number 2.
Can I say it? Playoff implications.
Or chase implications in this case.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to come back on Mason Houseman. There was just a bit of contact there between the 3 and 78 cars. Sutherland gets a big piece. Gray Walker gets a piece. That's major chase implications. About 6 different chase drivers, maybe 7, involved in this one crash. Let's count them. So, Mason Houseman, Dakota Camper, that's 2. Ray Walker got a piece, that's 3.
Johnny Wood get any?
He gets out to the outside of it. Sutherland makes 4. Stallings, Wolsifer, and Maddox makes 7 chase drivers out of 12 involved in this one incident.
Off of prior experiences, I don't know if this will fall back on Mason Houseman. I know he made the initial contact, but per race control, sometimes they give you enough time once you make that first contact. If you can't save the car, it's going to fall back on you, and it's going to be really crazy to see how this plays out.
Here's the onboard with Mason Houseman. Just for context, he got a little bit tight, got into the 3. I don't know how that's going to go.
I'm going to be honest, from that angle, it looks like they just can try to go into one line. You can't do that. I mean, Mason, it looks like Mason goes down a little bit on entry, and then it's going to be a tough call, because technically he should have it saved here in quotes, but still keeps it on the throttle and comes down the track.
That's going to be a really tough call for Rev to make, and I know he's got Gavin Rogers helping him out, but that's not going to be an easy call at all.
Race control says netcode played a little bit of a factor into that, so no penalties either way.
Let's dial up driver number 3. He won a couple of races ago at Daytona and comes in this evening needing a good night in the chase, and so far it's been anything but. He's been all over tonight, and no fault of your own there. What happened, Dakota?
I've got damage on my car, and just trying to make something out of a bad day, and got the 78. I don't know if he got in there fast or what, but I think I had it saved, and then it just broke loose again, and everybody was right there to hit me.
And it seems like it's been one of those nights where you're often the bug instead of the windshield. I mean, is there anything you can do to turn this thing around?
I'm just gonna try and go out here and drive like a grandma and hope that everybody else wrecks. So maybe our luck will shift with everyone else's.
Fair enough. Well, best of luck to you, Dakota. As a whole, though, on this chase, looking at this 5-race playoff, if you will, is there a track you like the best, other than maybe Talladega, where that would be a repeat almost of Daytona?
No, I mean, I was looking forward to this one. I had a good qualifying lap, and I felt like I was doing pretty good, but then once the bad luck started, it hasn't stopped.
Well, it's good to talk to you here, Dakota. Best of luck.
Thank you, buddy.
We'll get him back up to his team as these drivers re-enter the Geico restart zone. Green flag back in the air. We are racing once again in the Ideal East 250. No penalty for Mason Houseman. He's got the outside. Puller in a crash. Anderson involved. No caution yet. There it is. And Braxton Skinner will stay in the race lead.
Mentioned it earlier. Anderson just can't avoid the wrecks.
Let's see what happened to Puller here. He's had a really rough season. Net code there. sweeps him up underneath his feet, and Josh Anderson had nowhere to go.
Looks a lot like my wreck. Oh man, that sucks for Anderson.
On board with Adam Bussio, you'll see the net code here. Watch to the right side of the car. Pooler had a great restart. The entire outside line did. And that net code just tips him around.
Hey.
And the onboard here for Josh Anderson. That's just a situation of zigging when you should have zagged. He went high to try and miss it. And unfortunately, that's right where the 71 car went. And that's a lot of damage.
Oh man.
That's almost impressive.
Rabbit. Ah.
The two meatball motorsport cars in the pit lane here with damage. Not the night you guys wanted to have, but it's been that kind of season, and we talked about it night in, night out. It's been, aside from that win at Atlanta, where that was kind of your shining moment of the season, it's been a rough one for you guys.
Yeah, I'd say the last 5 races have been really hard for our team. What's that word I'm looking for? I don't know what the word is. Forget the word. It's just very hard for us to get back into the groove of things. Like, hey, let's go, let's get ready, we're fine. Motivation is it's really at all-time low right now, and you just have to power through it. It happens. You have your bad days, you have your good days, and we're just having our bad days right now.
Well, fair enough. We'll get a look here. Another restart then as the race info graphic pushes on beyond 15 cautions so far. For 46 laps now, and with 4 lead changes.
Skinner is still holding on to the lead, and that's great for him.
I want to give a thank you to those who help us out with the BRB Racing League, the Buttkicker, Ideal Lease, Ascendance Trucks, and Sundance Pizza. I could go for some pizza myself. We need
I gotta go to
Sundance.
Arizona and try it.
Yeah, we need Sundance in North Carolina, apparently. Well, here we go. Geico restart zone on the way once again. Braxton Skinner on the front row alongside Mason Houseman. Green flag, back in the air. The Ideal Lease 250's back underway.
Something I've noticed in the last couple of restarts, Culture Clock has been restarting behind Braxton Skinner, and didn't work this time, but they've been able to get out a little bit in front, kind of build a little bit of bubble to Mason.
This time, though, Mason Houseman powers by on the outside. He's got the race lead through turns 3 and 4, and a caution is out again. Zachary Brandvold, his teammate. Braxton's teammate, that is.
Man.
Brandvold involved at the very least. We'll see what happens to him down in turn 3. Car just came around. And Scott Fritz, I think, is going to crash. I'm trying to miss it. Yes, he is. Oh, narrowly misses the 3. That was close. For the 3 car of Camper, you know what that's going to be for me?
lucky performance break of the day.
Sure enough. Lucky
Gotta give
performance,
it to him
lucky
at this
break of the day. Yeah, this is a really close one. Whoa!
Oh man. Just talked to him a few minutes ago. He's got a little bit of luck on his side. You might not think it, but he's got some luck on his side. Missing the wreck with the 81 earlier on. Missed that wreck. He's got some lucky breaks today, and this is gonna be pretty cool. Pretty cool to watch.
Well, let's bring in a driver we have not talked to yet this season. As if I can find him in the Discord. Here we go. Matthew Catania, who is running third place right now. I said earlier we would make a better effort of talking to all these chase drivers, and one of them happens to be Matthew Catania. So we'll talk here with driver number 18. Matthew, how's the car feel? How are you doing so far?
Man, I'm just trying to survive. Came in with no practice. Car's a little wonky, real easy to lock up the brakes, especially going into one. I've done that a few times. This gets real light on exit out of 4, so it's been a handful.
And this is a very difficult car track combo, I should say. But it seems like you've been one of the better drivers at it. Do you think you can go out there and get the race win tonight?
I'm confident I can have a good finish. As far as winning, I mean, Mason's really fast here. Johnny Wood's really fast. It just all comes down to who's where at the finish. But yeah, I mean, in traffic, I feel really good, so.
Well, that's a good thing. To feel good in traffic is half the battle, I feel like. So best of luck to you, Matthew. Good to talk to you for the first time this season. And hopefully we're talking to you again soon.
All right. Well, thank you.
That's Matthew Catania. We'll get him back up with his team here in just 1 second. Scott Fritz, his teammate. The 18 car is looking good in that Days of Thunder throwback. Let's see how good it looks on the racetrack here on this restart. Working late into the night here. Mason Houseman, Matthew Catania, your front row. Braxton Skinner, Isaiah Sutherland, row number 2. Green flag back in the air. We are racing again at Gateway. Jared Hughes looks to the inside of Braxton Skinner. He finally gets swallowed up by the field here. Did a good job of hanging on there for a while. He's got older tires, though. And here we go, Zach. Here comes Matthew Catania looking to the inside.
Catania and Houseman. Will Catania finally show Mason what he's been doing to the field? A little bit of rough stuff. Will Catania be able to do it back? Oh no!
Braxton Skinner in trouble.
No! Ah. That was huge.
Watch the 33 here down the backstretch. Was getting swallowed up by the field. There goes Buzzio. Here comes Wood. Johnny Wood gives him a shot there. And is it an extra shot into the corner? No, he just goes around on his own. Oh my gosh. Ray Walker, his teammate, involved. That's a really big hit for both of those drivers. Ray Walker and Dustin Stallings, man, it gets worse and worse tonight. And that's going to be day done for Gray Walker. The
Saw
right
that
front.
hood flip open.
Look at the right front. Look at the steering wheel.
Ah.
When the right front is pointed at the wall and you're going out a straightaway, that's a problem.
my goodness.
To have it be a teammate makes it even worse.
Gray's been really performing this season as a rookie, and that just sucks. First chase appearance, just not able. Just man, we're just.
That one leaves you a little bit speechless.
Braxton and Walker are close, and I know Braxton just feels terrible right now with that whole situation. Not good.
Been a rough night for these guys. A lot of yellows. A lot of stop and go. Not much long green flag racing. How do you stay focused on a night like this, Zach? I mean, this is difficult on the driver.
There's two different ways to look at it. Some drivers that are in the back that don't really have pace, they want this. They want more of the caution so they can come up to the field. One person that does it really, really well every week when he can stay out of trouble is Dakota Bly. He gets some really good finishes with all these wrecks. But some of these guys like Wood, Houseman, Sutherland, Hughes, some of these guys that are up front every week that have pace don't like this because that just tears at their morale and like their confidence and everything, because they get out in front and then under the caution re-rack them, they can get re-followed back up into the field. One mistake, and we saw it earlier, you're gonna drop down the field, and Mason's been really only the one guy that's been able to drive through the field tonight, so.
See how it goes from here. 70 laps to go. Been a long one for sure. It's going to be a long one yet. Oh boy.
Almost at 11 o'clock Eastern time. One of the longer races of the season.
I wonder how much time is left in the session, because I wonder if we end up timing out of this one.
I think we still got about 2 hours left, so I think we should be good on the session time as well.
Oh man. Here we go. Green flag restart on the way. Mason Houseman, Matthew Catania, green flag. One car way down low, it's Gray Walker. He's just trying to survive. He exits the pit lane here. But your top three are Houseman, Catania, and Sutherland.
I was just about to say, I think Catania finally found something to try to challenge Mason and then makes a mistake in turn 3. And like I said a couple seconds ago, if you make that mistake, you're going to start to get swallowed up by the field.
Buzzio on the wall. Contact with Johnny Wood Jr. Buzzio's got trouble. How's the car steering? Not good.
Looks like a toe link.
He might be okay to continue on, but he's definitely going to have aero damage. Let's go back and get a look at it.
He's very heated on the radio.
Well, we'll take a look at why. Trying to clear Johnny Wood Jr. Johnny gets into him. Oh.
Yeah, I think it's bent. I think that toe link's bent.
So not happy with the 75 car. You see it there again. And boom, smash into the outside wall.
And he is falling through the field.
So far down to 9th. One car loose. It's Coulter Clark. Hang on to it, Coulter. Oh, Buttkicker going to get turned, and that's going to be a crash with Brandvold. Into the inside wall, but they're off the racetrack. This could stay green. No caution yet. Catania's slipping. He's down to 5th. 65 to go now. Ray Walker going to pit in. He's got too much damage to continue on, it seems. Side by side, the 8 and the 2, Brendan Maddox and Steven Borbell. Maddox will have Borbell cleared by turn 1, it looks like. Maybe not. The Next Level Racing driver stays on the inside down there. And that worked out nicely. Borbell going to get the spot back. So out front, Mason Houseman continues to lead. Isaiah Sutherland now second place, which is shocking to me, really, when you look at where he qualified. He qualified 13th tonight. One of his lowest qualifying efforts of the season. Usually, you can count on him to qualify up front. But the 24 car, just a little bit off this evening, has made quick work. I say quick. It's made work of the field. Nothing about this race has been quick. Has made work of the field. This has been a long race, and it's going to be still a long one to the end.
Usually that 24 car rolls off fast for these, rolls off the truck really fast for these shorter oval, flat track races. It was very surprising to see him qualify that low. I was thinking he'd be top 5 at least. Qualified 13th. That's just not a normal thing for him. So good to see him finally work his way through the field, and he's back up to second.
Walter moving back forward. He's trying to get by the 2 car, it looks like, of, or is that the 2 trying to go by the 56? I can't tell if the 2 is passing or if the 2 is getting passed. Regardless, Wolfsfer and Borbell will fight. Brake rotors are glow.
Gotta mention the laps to go, 60 laps to go. If we get a caution, that might be the final pit stop, and that might be where we decide everything. Looks like we're starting to single out into a green flag run, so that could be really good for green flag stops.
Yeah, but at the same time, time is running out. You know these guys are going to be on it. You know they're keeping an eye on how many laps are left. And once you get down this low, they know they don't have as many opportunities to battle, and that was a big mistake from both of these drivers, Catania and Wolfsfer. They both slid deep into the corner. I think Wolfsfer was following Catania, who made the mistake, and Borbell went by both of them.
I think Wolfsfer was just trying to play it a little bit safer and just follow him to see where he went, and then he could just decide if he was going to spin or not. He's either trying to make a move here out of turn 4 or fall back in line.
This is really an exhilarating camera when these guys are this out of control. Oh, problems there for Wolfsfer.
Did he money shift again?
I think he started to.
Brendan Maddox goes by him. Wolfsfer starting to fall.
Meanwhile, I got to circle back to this 98 car. Jared Hughes has looked so good tonight. Has been in second or third a lot. Runs in third now. He's been as low as 20th, admittedly, but has had a really good night overall. And, you know, we're coming up on that driver of the day conversation. I think he's got to be in it. He has just been so quietly good. Right behind Houseman and Wood most of the night. Now behind Houseman and Sutherland. And I didn't think, you know, I've been saying lately there's a big 3 in this league. Houseman, Sutherland, and Wood. I didn't think we would have a big 4, but so far tonight, he would be in it if there was a big 4.
I couldn't agree more with you. Hughes shows speed sometimes, but this just looks like one of his best races that he's been able to put together this season. Sporting this Pit Stop TV logo on his car. He's got some faith today.
Always love looking at the Pit Stop TV Whiplash SimCams machine there for Jared Hughes. We appreciate that he runs the logos on his car. Making him look good here tonight. And Patinko, it sounds like, is done. off the racetrack. Coulter Clark also off the racetrack. Scott Fritz, Josh Anderson off the racetrack. Gray Walker. Oh, Catania spinning in the 18. Down there with Richard Wolsifer. You're kidding me. No caution.
No.
We'll get a replay. These two were fighting for many laps. And this time, we'll see what happens. Catania up the racetrack. Wolfsburg just gets in the back of him.
I think Wolfsburg got a little bit of impatient there.
Yeah.
Trying to get by him.
Yeah, I'll be honest. We've been singing the praises of Richard Wolfsburg all night long, but that's self-inflicted.
And he's very lucky there, because if a caution would have came out, that would have been his second penalty of the day. He would have been parked. I mean, not a lucky break, but kind of is. He could have got parked there.
He'll stay in the race, albeit now down in the, let's see, 16th position. Catania runs in 10th. For Catania to have that happen and still run in 10th is pretty impressive. Now, we've also recently seen a pit stop for the 5 car. He came in 3 laps ago. He is 1 lap down now. Buzzio has come in and taken service. That's a gamble.
As you mentioned it, a couple laps ago he did mention that he still had about 6.5 minutes left of damage on that car, so it might be a strategy, it might not. He's got to try to get this lap back though.
Matinko is back on the racetrack trying to pass Coulter Clark. Then he says he'll be done. He's commenting all of that in the YouTube chat. One car slow. It's Braxton Skinner on the front stretch. What's going on here? This is dangerous. This could cause a caution. He'll pull off and be done. Getting word that the 33 blew up. Try and get a replay of it happening. He was in 3rd gear on the straightaways, then 4th. That's a sign that something was very much amiss. Back down to 3rd there. And there it goes.
Wow.
Very lucky that didn't bring out a caution, but he did the best he could, honestly, with the situation he was presented. Mason Houseman leads by 1.6 seconds. It has spread out front. Houseman, Sutherland, Hughes, your top 3. Wood in 4th. Borbell 5th. And Borbell is not far back of that 75 car.
With Coulter, Clark, and Braxton Skinner off the track, this is going to help Gray Walker get an extra 2 points. As we saw with the chase, every point matters. 3 points of the difference between Scott Fritz making the playoffs and being the first car out.
But here you go, a battle for 4th. Johnny Wood Jr. out front in that 4th spot. Stephen Borbell in 5th, trying to get a run on him. While we have a moment to do so, let's take a look at the nominations for Driver of the Day. And we'll make those nominations anyways here, Zach. And this will be an opportunity as a driver. You'll get to make a couple of nominations for Driver of the Day. Choose wisely. I'll give you the floor for that first pick.
Driver of the day. It was gonna be Richard, but I gotta go with Jared Hughes. He's performed today, and he drives for one of the top teams in our series, and hasn't really performed. But today he has showed up, and he's performing. He's running third right now. I gotta go Jared Hughes.
Well, since you took my pick, I'll make it easy, and I'll just take Mason Houseman. I think he's certainly deserving at this point. He's got all these laps led. Houseman has really just been the car to beat. Let's see, out of 145 now complete, or 144 now complete, he's led 106. That's a pretty solid night. It's hard to argue that. I hate to take the easy pick, but you took my pick.
I'm about to go with Carl Puller. He's had a lot of issues lately in the series. Last couple weeks. Couldn't even make it out of turn 2, lap 1 at Michigan. Had issues, I think, at IRP. Running 6th. I gotta go Carl.
Not a bad pick at all. There's Carl Puller. He's had a lot of trouble this evening, but has also battled back, and that's been the difference this season. He has had so much bad luck, but always does his best to battle back, and so far tonight it's working. And if I look through this field, somebody that has had a really good night, but has been taken out of it by one bad mistake, one singular mistake, really, took this guy from a top 5 run to making it now a top 10 run. We got to see if he can battle back from it, but Matthew Catania, I think, is deserving of a nomination tonight.
Couldn't agree more with you there on that one. He's been there. He's been up front. Had a little bit of an issue with Richard. He's doing his thing though. He's still holding on in 10th place after that damage and after that contact. So I couldn't agree more with you with that one.
That driver of the day vote is now active over on YouTube, so you can make your vote. You've got a few options. Mason Houseman, one of them. Jared Hughes, another. Carl Puller's an option. And of course, as we just mentioned, Matthew Catania is an option. So make your vote. Let your voice be heard. Over on the YouTube chat. And we'll see who wins driver of the day today. And you know, Nicholas Renner brings up a really good point. Robert Moyer runs in 11th right now. This has been one of the best runs we've ever seen Robert Moyer have. He's on the verge of a top 10 tonight, and he just kind of, I get the feeling he rides around. He's happy to just be here racing in a league. Does a lot of broadcasting over at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. I get the vibe. He's just happy to be racing and on track on these Tuesday nights, but he's putting together a really solid effort tonight.
And I couldn't agree more. I usually don't see him inside the top 15. He's had a couple of bad breaks early on in the season, but looks like he's starting to get to his form here late into this race.
We flash back up to the top 5. Stephen Borbell working on Johnny Wood Jr. and Jared Hughes. So Johnny Wood sits in a next level sandwich. This is 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Gonna have to be coming up on green flag stops here shortly. About 50 laps since we went green. I'd say with the cautions, they maybe can got 10 to 15 more laps, maybe 20 more laps into the tank. Gonna be a little different. Maybe some guys were saving this whole time and have enough fuel and kick them down to a fuel mileage finish.
You know, it's tricky because I don't think any of these guys expected this green flag run. Certainly we didn't, and it's just been one of those nights. It's trended to be a short run race all night long. So I don't think anybody's been saving, because you would have had to start saving from the get-go. We don't know how much fuel they've saved under cautions, but they've had plenty of cautions to save. So this is going to be an interesting little scenario, and at the same time, you can't pit too early, because what if a caution comes out and traps you a lap down? You've got to run this thing out as long as you can in case a caution comes out.
As we're on that, Zach Maddox hit pit road there.
Catania's
Back
also
on
in.
track.
Now these guys are lapping at about a 34.4, 34.3 for the leaders. Their best times are 35.5s, 33.5s, 33.6s. So they're about 0.8 off of their best lap times. Is that enough to come in and pit this early? I mean, maybe.
I mean, you got to think from last week at Michigan, we had a lot of guys take 2 tires at the end of the race. Maybe some of these guys that, I mean, Catania and Maddox both took 4 tires, but what about Wood or Hughes and all of them? Do they come down and take 2 tires? Are tires really that important?
We'll see. I don't know. I don't have the answer, I'll tell you that much. So far, Jared Hughes has been the leader in that driver of the day vote. I think he's a really good option. He's a really good underdog in this story. Houseman and Pooler have each got a vote. Make your votes known, guys, as Johnny Wood Jr. will peel off and head to the pit lane.
It's going to be interesting to watch if he comes down, if he takes 4, if he takes 2.
Let's ride on board with him here to the pit stop and see what he takes. A little bit of an early stop, about 10 laps early. All the way down to the last box. What's it going to be for Johnny Wood Jr.? At least 2 tires. Does the crew run around for 4? And yes, it'll be 4 tires. And this is going to bring Jared Hughes in. This is another guy that I feel like could go for 2. I feel like it might be a little bit too early for him to go for 2, but he could. Carl Pooler comes in. Dustin Stallings comes in. Hughes and Stallings are in the chase. Let's see, is it 2 or 4 for Hughes? It's going to be 4. Houseman's in. This is forcing the hand of everybody. Once you see a few cars come in, you've got to cover that up, right?
Oh, for sure. The tire fall off, it's about a second. So, yeah, I'd say once those guys pit, you got to come. As we saw the first couple guys come in, and now everybody's starting to come in. Looks like Borbell's going to stay on track as long as he can, though.
There goes Sutherland. Wait a minute, is that 2 tires? That is. That might have even been fuel only.
Houseman takes 2 as well.
Houseman took 2. Sutherland took fuel only.
Oh, here we go.
I don't think he expected 2 tires out of Mason Houseman. I think he expected 4 tires. I think he expected to have a much larger gap back to the 78 car.
I did say Sutherland is one of the better drivers in the field about saving tires and saving the car. I don't hate the call. I think it's a pretty good call. You got to get in front of Mason. He's really fast by himself out front. You got to be able to put that dirty air on his nose and try to slow him down as much as you can.
Borbell and Camper have stayed out so far, along with Dyer, Dorsey, and Brandvold. So the 2 car is currently the race leader.
Now if you're Borbell, I think you got to run as long as you can. Try to open for a caution. Try to keep as many cars 1 lap down as possible.
Yeah, once you make your bed like this, you've got to lie in it. Want to give another thank you to those who make it possible for us here at the BRB Racing League. The Buttkicker, Ideal Lease, Sundance Pizza, and Ascendance Trucking, all helping us out here on these Tuesday nights, making it possible for us to go racing. Also want to give a shout out to those who help us at Pit Stop TV, Whiplash SimCams, ATVO, CC's Business, and Cody Williams Design, as well as Lucky Performance, and now the North American Racing League. Mason Houseman is on Isaiah Sutherland with 30 to go. This is tentatively the battle for the race win, and it should be a quick one.
They've had some contact earlier on in the season. Maybe they get a little aggressive here, and maybe that caution does come out, but looks like they're going to race each other clean here in turn 3. Fritz is going to get out of the way.
So Sutherland gives the spot up. Sam Dyer finally comes in and pits. Johnny Wood Jr. is 4.5 seconds back of these guys. That's the difference between 4 tires and 2 tires. 5.5, 4.5 seconds, something like that. There's Johnny Wood Jr.
Mason is just so hard to beat when it comes to these kinds of races where you can either take 4 tires or 2 tires. He always does the riskier strategy, and it always seems to pay off for him, taking 2 tires and being able to just drive away from some of these guys on 4 tires as well. It just, he does it perfectly, and it's amazing to watch.
Here's a look still at current race leader Stephen Borbell. Dakota Camper also staying out under this run. We have seen green flag pit stops in a race that we never thought we'd see it. It's just been one of those nights. These guys have had a lot of good races lately. I should say you guys, Zachary. You guys have had a lot of good races lately. Tonight has been a step back. But that's the way it goes sometimes. This is a very difficult racetrack. We knew this going in. We knew it could be one of these nights. And here comes Borbell.
I'm gonna go off of what happened in last night's practice race. We had this almost the exact same scenario where we had cars saving fuel, not expecting it to go caution free, and some guys saved thinking it would go caution free, and maybe Camper can capitalize on this. I don't know when last he was on pit road, but he definitely learned last night from the practice race, so you can save fuel if you need to.
He pitted 46 laps ago, so he's got about 15 more. That would give him to about lap 180. If he's been saving, maybe he can stretch it to 185 and try to catch a caution, but I don't think he's got enough to go to the end.
When was our last caution, Andrew?
Oh, I'd have to go back in the broadcast to check it out. It's been a while now. I can try to find it.
If we've had a couple of cautions since he last pitted, he might have an extra 5 or 7 laps of fuel from just saving under yellow. He could be really close, and this is gonna be great. Oh, as we say it, looks like he's coming to pit road.
Not close enough for the 3.
Man, I think if I was in that situation, I think I'd just try to stay out as long as I can.
We restarted with about 70 laps to go.
Oh.
Cody Dorsey will take over the race lead for the time being. Mason Houseman just a couple of seconds back. There's Houseman with the race lead. Buzzio will officially be trapped 1 lap down. This has been a disaster kind of night for him. It was looking good for a long time. He was in the top 10, top 5 even for a lot of the night. And then contact with Johnny Wood Jr. completely unraveled his evening. So the Ideal East number 5 in the Ideal East 250, unfortunately, will have a rough finish.
He needs Cliff Daniels on the box, because he is very, very hot over the mic still to this point. I think he's got to reel in a little bit of the emotions. I think he's got to put his head down and just try to push as hard as he can. I know he's got a lot of damage, but this is the chase. This is where everything starts to form out, where we're going to see who our champion is, and this is not a great start if you're Adam Buzzio.
Not at all. Just behind him, you see Johnny Wood Jr. and Isaiah Sutherland. They're going to start to do battle. Jared Hughes is another 2 seconds back.
4 tires versus no tires.
Yeah, this should be an easy fight. It was a 34.646 last time for Sutherland, a 34.2 last time for Johnny Wood Jr. For a while, Johnny Wood Jr. was running faster than Mason Houseman. Last lap, Houseman was faster. And Houseman will take the race lead back away as Johnny Wood fits a car just underneath that 24.
Oh, what a battle it is right here. Maybe Johnny can start catching Mason, but it's going to be hard with just less than 20 laps to go as he gets clear of Sutherland.
Exactly 20 laps to go, that time by the flag stand. Johnny Wood Jr. has got to make up 3.8 seconds. Last lap, they were about a 10th different, with Houseman lapping a little bit faster. Sutherland goes by Brandvold, who seems to be trying to stay out on fuel. The field has passed him and come back to him as we've got a slow car. Dakota Bly taking the Braxton Skinner route. He's going to pull off. He's got a lot of damage.
He said it was stuck out of gear.
On board. He was saving fuel. He's on a 50-lap run trying to make it to the end, and he is stuck, yeah, out of gear. Knocked the wall down.
Right front is demolished.
Totally towed out.
Was talking about him early on in the night, said how he's so good at these races with Wreckfest, and he's able to pull out good finishes. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get that great of a finish, still running 18.
All right, so begins the race for the win. Johnny Wood Jr., 3.2 seconds back into turn 1 this time. Last lap, he was just faster than the 78. On board of them. I think Houseman's too far out.
If he's going to catch Houseman, he needs to catch him at least 3/10 a lap. With 16, 17 laps to go, 3.3 is the gap. I mean, he's closing. He just needs 3/10 a lap. That's the number he needs to look at right now. It's 3/10 a lap, and he'll be able to catch Houseman. And that'll be just edging him out of the line.
Johnny Wood Jr. that time by about a 10th faster. He needs more than that. I think he lost too much time trying to fight through traffic. What he needs now is for Houseman to get held up in traffic. That lap, he was about 3, almost 4/10 faster.
I think Houseman's tires are starting to fall off a little bit here.
Well, he's in heavy traffic. Look at this. Catania up ahead. Zachary Maddox, Sam Dyer. Guys trying to hang on to the back end of the lead lap. And they will put up a fight. Houseman gets by Catania. And that last lap, Johnny Wood Jr. was about a 10th and a half faster, nearly 2/10.
Not enough. He's got to get more.
Houseman goes by the 14 of Zachary Maddox. And Zachary Brandvold will finally pit. Down to 2.3 seconds. That time was 4/10. I think it's possible. I don't know if it's plausible, but I would say it's possible right now.
He's got to continue what he's been doing and just hope the tires don't plateau or fall off. Mason's look like he's able to just hold on to the gap, but slowly closing in. Johnny Wood Jr. is starting to catch, and this is gonna be a great finish.
About a 10th difference that last lap. He needs a lot more than that as his laps go on, though. He'll be catching up here to Robert Moyer Jr. And then to Zachary Maddox, Matthew Catania, Sam Dyer. Now, it should get easier for him. These guys should accept that they're a lap down already and move out of the way of second place. But that's not always the case. Sometimes they put up a fight.
Not only that, but even if they do get out of the way, the dirty air will still be there, middle of the corner. He's got to get by them real quick and real fast.
And who knows, we can still have a caution here. Stephen Borbell racing with Isaiah Sutherland. They just passed Cody Dorsey for position. And Borbell is going to dive on Sutherland. That's good for fifth. No, fourth. We also have Dustin Stallings and Brendan Maddox fighting. They're about 6/10 apart as we hit 10 laps to go here at Gateway, finally. Back on board with Johnny Wood Jr. 2 seconds between these two. And you can see just how much traffic is impacting the 75. These guys need to get out of his way if he's going to win this race.
I don't think it's enough now. Now he's in this dirty air. He's got to start making some risky. He's got to make some risky moves here out of 2. Go a little bit of contact. Oh man.
That was Gray Walker on the very outside. Robert Moyer in the middle.
That could have been bad.
And that, I think, puts a nail in the coffin. It's not the final nail, but it's one of them. One of those nails. Anyways, as, oh, wait a minute. Catania and Dyer were just dooring each other on the straightaway. These guys are battling for 10th position on the racetrack. Catania will clear. And Johnny Wood Jr. is still trying to get by Robert Moyer Jr. I think he'll finally do so here. Robert Moyer racing him a little bit. And finally, the 75 will go by the 16. Just enough room to get clear. It's a long road up to that 78 car, though, and I think it's about done. Unless we get a caution, I don't see him making that up.
He's going to get by Maddox here. He's not going to be able to revert that top. Now he's back up there. He's going to have to try to catch him as hard as he can. He's going to have to try as hard as he can.
Robert Moyer on the back end of Zachary Maddox. This is for 12th position. Jared Hughes going to roll on by, or at least going to try to. This time by 5 laps to go at Worldwide Technology Raceway. 5 more times around for Mason House, but you know, we've been hoping and praying for all these other drivers to have a chance. But let's sing praises of Mason Houseman real quick. At this point, with 5 to go, he's led 134 laps. He's going off to basic training in July. He wants to get a second championship in this BRB Racing League and be the first driver to do it twice. This is only the 3rd season of this series. And he could go out there and get 2/3 of these championships with this season alone. 4 laps to go, and he's looking for win 5. This would be an absolutely perfect storybook beginning to the chase for Mason Houseman. To get the win here at Gateway, a long, long race. Outstanding run from the 78 so far. 3 laps to go this next time by. Zachary Maddox, Robert Moyer, they continue to fight. We're not out of the woods yet. We could still have a caution. We also have Jared Hughes catching up to Johnny Wood Jr. These two are now about 7/10 apart. I think Johnny Wood has kind of given up. And so,
Jared Hughes gonna be able to catch him?
It's going to be close. And so 2 laps to go now for Mason Houseman at Gateway. 2 more times around for the Maverick Motorsports 78 car. Again, trying to begin the chase with a race win. He's led 100 and nearly 140 laps almost. And he's got just about a mile and a half before he caps this one off with a race win. Behind him, Jared Hughes is trying to run down Johnny Wood Jr., but as we get the Whiplash Simcam's white flag, one more time around this 1.25 mile speedway. This is the battle for second. Into turn number 3 this time by Mason Houseman. Looking to open the chase with a race win. He's going to get it done here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. It's going to be a 5th checkered flag on the season for Mason Houseman. Jared Hughes comes home just behind Johnny Wood Jr. But Mason Houseman will leave here with a checkered flag. He wins the Ideal Lease 250. Solid job of Mason Houseman all night long. Very much deserving of this one.
And I believe that is his 12th BRB Racing League win. And that will tie him, I think, with Gavin Rogers.
That's impressive.
What a drive of that 78 all day. Was able to drive through the field when he restarted in the middle of the pack. Able to bring it home. 2-1. Won both stages. Dominated, led over 139 laps. Now that's how you start the chase.
That is how you get it done here. Mason Houseman with another race win this season. Just continues to rack them up. You know, we talked about the momentum for Johnny Wood Jr. last week after the win at Michigan. And that was true. That worked out for him. He performed really nicely. But it's going to take a lot to beat Mason Houseman this season. And so we'll let them celebrate, and then we'll work on the unofficial race results here. Really good looks here at the 78 car from the drone camera on the front stretch. And the whole Maverick Motorsports team will square up for a picture.
You know, when I first joined this league, as a rookie, first time ever doing sim league racing. Mason signed me to his team. I know it's not on his car. It was not a very bright spot, I'd say, on his resume. But he owned a team with Spirit Racing. Me, Evan, Bill Hills, and Jeremy Clapper were on that team. And that was probably one of the hardest seasons for me. It was my first time ever doing it. But he's a great support guy. If he ever had questions or anything, he was always there to help out. He still does it today, with people still in the races that are in practices, and he's there. He's always helping people out. He's definitely playing the role as a champion. I think he's doing a great job of it.
Well, let's take a look at your unofficial race results this evening when it's all said and done here at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Of course, Mason Hausman with the race win. Second place will, of course, go to Johnny Wood Jr., Jared Hughes in third. You see the margin of victory, 2.475 seconds. Hausman with the win. Then it's Hughes, Wood, Hughes, Borbell, Sutherland, your top five. Sutherland, I like the gamble to go with no tires, but it did not pan out very nicely. Maddox 6th, Stalling 7th. Pooler and Camper on the lead lap. Matthew Catania, a top 10, 1 lap down.
11th is Sam Dyer, 12th Robert Moyer Jr., 13th is Zach Maddox, 14th Brandvold, 15th Dorsey, 16th Richard Wolsifer. He had a lot of struggles earlier on. Was able to bring it home 16th, 1 lap down. Buzzio 17th, Dakota Bly 18th, had that little bit of an issue getting the car into gear. Gray Walker finishes 19th, Scott Fritz finishes 20th.
And down in the back of the field, a lot of guys with early exits. Josh Anderson, Evan Batinko, Braxton Skinner, Coulter Clark. Jason Bottoms in 25th. Eric Jensen, Zachary King, yourself there in 27th. And Matthew Selby, the first car out of the race after 9 laps of racing, 181 laps down in 28th spot. That will end the NARL Driver of the Day vote. Of course, the Driver of the Day vote always brought to you by the North American Racing League. And Jared Hughes is today's Driver of the Day. We'll be talking to him. He finishes third. But Mason Hausman comes home with the race win. We'll talk with him. Race winner, Stage 1, Stage 2 winner. It's done here at Gateway. What was the car like, and how did you get this one?
Just a lot of practice. Or I guess I didn't actually practice much, but I don't know. This track is pretty good for me. I've always liked it. Really loose track, so always suits me better than I think a lot of people. And you know, I noticed in the practice race last night, Isaiah, Johnny, all them, they had a lot of short run speed, but I noticed that I would start to pull them away as soon as that long run pace came around. As soon as it hit night as well, I knew I had a lot more speed than a lot of people.
Well, you come home tonight with the race win, and certainly your speed always triumphs, it seems like, on these driver racetracks. We've got a road course, another driver racetrack next week. How do you feel for Watkins Glen?
I feel great. I love road courses. I hope I can do exactly what I did there next week, or here next week. But you know, anything could happen. Road courses are really treacherous sometimes, especially Watkins Glen. There's a lot of spots where you could jump the car, you could roll the car, you could spin the car. Hope you don't roll the car, but if you do, I don't know what happened there. But I hope to do as well as I did here next week at Watkins Glen.
There you go, Mason Hausman already looking forward to the second road course of the season, first road course and only road course of the chase. Any other racetracks on your list here? I mean, there's only 3 others: Talladega, Rockingham, and Miami. Of those, which of those do you feel like you have the best chance to win at?
That's a great question. I have never raced Rockingham before, so I'm gonna take off that one. And Homestead, I have raced before, and Talladega, I normally get wrecked, so I'm gonna say Miami.
There you go, Mason Hausman with a race win. A special paint scheme he's shipping out to Basic in July, trying to get one more championship here in the BRB Racing League. Congratulations, Mason.
Yes, thank you guys. And I want to thank you guys. You guys had a really long broadcast here tonight, So I want to thank you guys for sticking it with us. I want to thank Rev and all the other admins that stick up there in the race control booth. They had a tough job tonight with a lot of really tough calls. And I want to thank everybody in the league. You know, I don't know if this will be the last time I get to talk on here for the broadcast, so I just want to say this race is for you. And I appreciate you guys helping me get through these entire seasons and talking to me, and I love getting to know you all of you guys.
There you go, Mason Houseman with a very, very solid race win this evening, and much thanks to the rest of the field he races with. We will move on down, though, to second place and grab Johnny Wood Jr., who's able to grab the second place finish with what seemed like relative ease. Zach, you'll be talking to him.
Hey, Johnny Wood, finished second. Had a good run there at the end. How'd you do it?
Uh-oh. I got pulled in, but I can't hear nothing.
Uh-oh. Like Johnny Wood Jr. maybe can't hear us. Johnny, do you have a copy yet?
Oh, I hear you now.
Hey, Johnny Wood, finished second. You're running down Mason
Hello?
at the end. What happened with the tire fall off?
Oh, Johnny, do you have Zach muted?
How about now?
Try again, Zach.
Hey, Johnny, finished second today. How'd you do it? What happened there, and what was the call?
Yeah, it was a 4-tire call. I figured I was kind of figuring for a late race caution, but that didn't kind of work out. It just stayed green like yesterday, and which still kind of worked out. I think Mason just had a big enough lead getting into his pit stall that it worked out on his end. So to each their own.
Yeah, you were starting to catch there at the end. We were trying to keep track of it. You were starting to catch, and then you hit the lap traffic, and the car it looked like it just died. Anything on that?
Yeah, I don't know if lap traffic don't want to give up anything, but it's like they won't give you the corner off. They'll let you get on the inside, but they won't let you have it off, and you kind of get bound up, and then you got a drag race down the corner. And it's kind of the same thing getting into the next corner, and oh well, I don't know. I mean, we'll try it again next week.
Thank you again, Johnny. Do you have anybody to thank?
Yeah, I mean, I think the people that watch every weekend, broadcast in the league, so.
Alright, that's Johnny Wood, second here at Gateway.
Johnny Wood Jr. second place. We'll go down and get third place Jared Hughes, who was able to outlast a long, long night here at Gateway. Jared, you are today's driver of the day, brought to you by North American Racing League, which is, I think, an honor in and of itself. But tell us about your race. How did you manage third place?
Man, that race whooped my butt. I wasn't prepared for it to be that long, and I was kind of surprised with the speed I had. Just when we started practice, I kind of figured it out kind of quick, and I really had a lot of fun running laps here. Like Rev told me to kind of treat it like a road course, and that kind of helped me take care of the car a little bit.
We were able to come home third place and get this chase started off with a solid race. How do you keep this momentum flowing? I know it's a road course next week, completely different game, but how do you keep this rolling at Watkins Glen next week?
You know, I really like road courses. I have a lot of fun. I like to practice them, and I feel like I got good pace at road courses, so I'm pretty excited about next week. But Talladega, Rockingham after that, it's a little shaky, but this is definitely a good start. I'm really looking forward to the rest of the chase.
Well, congratulations, Jared. It's good to talk to you once again. You're today's driver of the day, and hopefully that makes that third place feel even better.
It does. Thank you, guys.
Jared Hughes, today's driver of the day per the YouTube vote. Good to talk to him when it's all said and done. Didn't get a chance to talk to him during the cautions this evening, but Zachary, that is a good, solid finish for that 98 car.
Yeah, like I said earlier on, he's when he's there, and when he's not there, it's one of them bad days. And he just had a really, really good day and very deserving of the driver of the day win vote.
Well, that'll do it for us this evening from Gateway. We take a look at what's coming up next. It's Watkins Glen for these guys. March 11th in Talladega, Rockingham, and Miami. 4 races to go Zach, I got to ask you, as a driver, which one are you looking forward to the most?
Oh, you already know. It's going to be Talladega, and then Miami is a close second. Miami's my home race here on the service. And but Talladega, we show speed at Daytona. We showed speed at Atlanta. So getting ready to go back to one of those is going to be real fun. We're going to try to put our 51 Ford Mustang back in victory lane, hopefully, for the second time this season. It'll be great.
Certainly would be good to see here this late in the season. Congratulations again on that win at Atlanta to get the season started. Hopefully you can get another one here before the season's over. I know you missed the chase. That'd be a nice consolation, I'd say. But that'll do it for us this evening from Gateway, Worldwide Technology Raceway Gateway. Let's take a look at what's upcoming for us at Pit Stop TV. Next up, if we get enough teams, it'll be the Sarah Team Clash on Thursday. Then you see Watkins Glen next Tuesday, March 11th. Should be a lot of fun on a road course. And then the North American Racing League gets kicked off at VIR on March 13th. A lot of stuff to tune in for. You can catch it all on Pit Stop TV's social media platforms. There you see them down below. Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and X. That'll do it for us, though, this evening from Worldwide Technology Raceway Gateway. Been a lot of fun. We'll see you all next time here. A big thank you to our partners, Buttkicker, Ascendance Trucks, Ideally, Sundance Pizza, Whiplash Simcams, ATVO, CC's Business, Cody Williams Design, Lucky Performance, North American Racing League, and that'll do it for us. We'll see y'all next time.